All right, folks. Well, we casted this game earlier, this map earlier. And for those that like Lowy the Legends, or just Legends, we found one. And that was incredible. There's a player who is actually chopping all of the trees on these hills on this map Crossroads. But I don't think we're going to see that here. I don't think anyone's going to try and deny the enemy wood. We've got mid-elo Maniacs here. And we've got Malay for Brossus, who's in the blue. On the very right side, then, we've got Vivi Faye, who's playing as the Hindustanis. Now, I had not seen this map until today. And obviously, we've seen a couple games with it now, so I have a little bit more perspective on how I think the map should be played. Obviously, one of the biggest talking points is going to be the woodline. So players are going to most likely rely on taking the wood here. And so I immediately feel like you can use that as your point of attack. Obviously, you want to defend your own wood, but also maybe want to attack the others. So I could see Archer Civilizations being very good. I could even see Tower Civilizations or strategy being pretty decent if the timing's right. But assuming they picked Civilizations here, I think that Blue saw the water and said, I know what to do with that. But they get that extra vision from their docks. They have great fishing, so I think Malay should be pretty good here. Blue just going to push in all these deer real quick. And it's pretty well played so far and is going out to the trees. Okay. So Malay fit for me. Hindustanis, they do have cheaper vills. And wow, Red weakens the board with the TC. Finishes it off with the villagers. What is mid-elo doing these days? But you know, I just don't know like if Hindustanis really scream amazing on this map to me. Obviously, if you're used to someone... The nice thing about the Hindustanis is if someone goes for, like, knights, you have the really good camels, so you can counter that. And then if someone goes for archers, you then have the unique unit, which counters that. But kind of unique uses, right? Like, to have to rely on a camel, like, / unique unit to find the counters to that has made things a little bit more awkward. But I guess, like, you know, when the Hindustanis came out, they were insane, right? Like Hindustanis Gurjaras in the India, or what was it? Indian Dynasties DLC, I think. Anyways, they were OP. They were busted. I'm getting stressed even thinking about it because it was during one of the events I was running and it was really frustrating. And then the devs were like, okay, we got to dial it back. And at least like competitively, a lot of people feel like they dialed it back a little too much. That's kind of what I feel. But this isn't going to help, Red. Let's see. Can you save your villager? Can you save him? Can you save him? No. Well, unfortunate for Red. Red's like, well, you know, I'm not sub 1000 elo anymore, so there's no chance the T90 will cast me. And sorry, Red, we're casting some 1000+ elo games as well now, but it's okay. You'll be better from it. And hey, your villagers are cheaper. They're more disposable. Oh god, Red also forgot to make a house. Red's panicking. Red is falling apart. We are witnessing a player fall apart. Everything is going wrong. But, okay, Red's thinking ahead. Gonna make a couple more houses. Probably make some walls around the woodline here, too. And we'll see how things go. Strix says, what is this map? It looks terrible. You could always see the name of the map at the mini-map. It is called Crossroads. Again, I kind of question the name because I have not seen a road. But I assume that is what this stone terrain is supposed to mean. So, also, do we not have any mods that are able to pay out who won the last game? Or was the mod AFK and didn't see who won the last game? I see people asking about that. Dux is AFK. Okay, I need to go to the UPS store. Who won? I actually don't remember. What was the previous game again, guys? Smallhead has a fever. It's okay. Guys, your volunteer work is slacking. How dare you? No, seriously, what was the previous game again? Now, don't trust chat. Remind me, what were the civs again? I forget. Oh, the Nomad game. Yeah. Okay, Pumpy won. I forgot about that game already. All right, so I thought we would see fish from the Malay player. Has not happened. We actually have some fish from Red, so as long as Red actually fishes the fish, which red is now fixed. Should be pretty good. Blue hits the next stage lightning quick. Found the enemy. And let's see what the scouting looks like for blue. Found the TC, found the gold, found the woodline. And is gone fast feudal into... Headed to gold now. I think it's going to be archers eventually. But things weren't that streamlined here for blue to be able to build whatever it is right away. The positive is, like, red is still on the way to feudal age. So this is just the melee bonus paying off here, and blue's going to have plenty of time. Ducks, using the announcement feature in my chat, says I'm going to go pick up my UIPS, my whips package. Pray this game doesn't end until I get back. It's all good, Ducks. We can manage. Ducks, do not break the speed limit for a poll on stream, okay? Please obey every stop sign, every red light. I may or may not have broken the, some traffic laws because of streaming Age of Empires in the past. Just saying. But all right, red hits the next stage. Obviously, it was a bit rough. We focused in on red's flaws earlier. Red made some mistakes, but red has 4 fishing ships. Blue doesn't have any. And blue, you really want to do that? You started it. Okay, villagers got some real balls there. And scouts now both pretty weak. And red's going to bring that scout home to where there's a stable going up, so could be scouts from red. Will be archers from blue, and that's something that red could have seen because of seeing the archery range there. But again, I'm not really sure, like, how many 1100 elos are out there? Tell me how much you think players adapt to what they see. Or is it a lot of, like, autopilot? It probably depends, right? But, like, for example, red has said, oh, my opponent's probably fishing. They're melee and is making fire galleys, but there's no fish. You know, like, you can't scout everything in a game, but it's just something to think about. Ironically, blue actually will see that red has docked here and maybe think about docking to make navy, and then those fire galleys will pay off. Schlump says, I'm 1200 and I adapt. Okay. I would say my gauge, my guess is this rank is adapting 50% of the time. So they have like their core strategy, but then because they don't see everything on time or they don't really know some of the information, they can't adapt all the time, right? That's probably a fair assessment. Skills you says I adapt and get it wrong at 800 elo? Okay. All right, good to know, good to know, good to know. Well, you know, my question, the reason I asked that was because the opponents made archers here. But, you know, it does seem like blue's really paranoid about the scouts. So I think blue is thinking, I'm not going to move out until my woodline's protected. Seems pretty content to just leave the archers at home. If those archers moving forward could potentially pose a problem to red. TC idle time really low for blue. Blue looking to wall up. And blue might just be happy to do that. Type a 1 in my chat here, guys. If you lose your archers before you get to Castle Age and you're like, crap, why does this always happen? I think a lot of people then fall into the thinking of, let's just keep my archers alive. Let's not take any risks. And then if this archer mass is still alive in the next stage, that's when we can be aggressive. So that's what I'm seeing here from blue. Obviously, again, like, if those archers are moving forward right now, this is protected, right? Like, there's a big opportunity for blue to do some real damage here. But we'll see if blue builds up the courage to do that. Red scouts, only 3 of them. They do have bloodlines, but 1 was weak from before. This is not going to be a good fight for red. Wonder if red will think about skirmishers. Or maybe eventually the Gulam. The Gulam is really good against archers. Why does blue have half the relics on his side of the map? They flipped a coin before this. There's like a little coin flip, like they do before overtime in sports games sometimes here in the US. And it was determined that blue gets the relic side. It's a new feature, so So, won the coin flip this time. Maybe red will win the coin flip next time. It'll work out. Also, that's a joke. That's a really bad one. I mean, it's not all the relics, right? Yeah, you're right. Blue's got, the relics are closer to blue. They probably just didn't look at it in the map script. This is the first time it's been in ranked, so. All right, so red, 6 scouts now. No armor, does have bloodlines. And that's a dangerous number of scouts, but again, the archer number is really healthy for blue. Blue doesn't have any spears. Let's see what the micro looks like for blue. Has the hill. Should be able to win this fight. And red also left this scout behind here. And blue's playing well. So again, it kind of like brings me back to what I said. I think blue's focus is just like big archer ball. And then in Castle Age we kill. I'm not really sure how red's going to be able to manage this. I like this though. You got the tower on the wood. I'd like to see a couple villagers on the stone so you could build towers elsewhere. But you cannot make knights with the Hindustanis. Your anti-archer option would be your unique unit, which you need a castle for. Farming looks really good for blue. I like the fact that red is going to expand to the side still and add more fish. That can really help. But blue, like every archer player you've ever seen, going to buy some food here. Try and rush that Castle Age timing, and this is Malay we're talking about. So you advance faster to the next stage, and there goes blue. Tusk Star says, I like to add a couple spearmen with the archers. Yeah, I think if you're moving out early, adding the spearmen can be really good. I think when you're headed towards Castle Age, like, if you're up against a Knight Civ or whatever, like, a couple spearmen normally aren't going to have as much of an effect. So here come the archers. Yo, Spaz, thanks for the 15. I'm also glad you're excited about this elo here. Okay, tower. That's not something blue is expecting. A little split micro from blue. Fun to see. And now blue has to find a different area to attack. Red still hasn't clicked up. Red's going to have fully upgraded scouts here. If these scouts with these upgrades would have engaged before crossbow and bodkin, it would have been amazing. Interesting houses here from red behind this. Red is under a lot of pressure right now. Blue drops the second TC. No bodkin arrow upgrade from blue. But crossbow's on the way. I imagine bodkin's going to come in. Red's just going to relocate, head to that gold, which is good. Blue's unit control is important. Basically, blue is forced more than enough of a reaction to snowball this at home and have a big eco. But if blue isn't able to get bodkin arrow and maybe loses all these crossbows, blue will basically just be booming at home with no map control, which would be bad. Red is struggling big time. Red has the resources to click up to the next stage. Still hasn't clicked up to the next stage. Maybe thinks that they clicked up to the next stage. I mean, he's making another villager now. Oh, make a demo, please. Make a demo, red. You make a demo, and then you attack from the scouts on this side, and then blue will run up against the shoreline. Oh, please. So I think blue found it kind of difficult to do damage here. Push the opponent off of gold and farms. Didn't feel comfortable going past there. On one side, there's the tower. And honestly, I think red's going to be okay here, guys. You might be like, well, why? Why do you think that? Blue's got a big, villager count. Blue's got 50 villagers. It's just 39 for red. But red's got fish. Red's got a lot of fish. And very cheap vills, so could always catch up in the future. And has a lot of scouts. And, again, please make a demo. Like, guys! Why are we not making demos? Is it not satisfying enough for you? It's because the game is hard, but seriously, a demo would have killed most of these. Dude. Guys, blue is not ready for the amount of scouts that red is going to have. Red's gone triple stable, still producing scouts, is going to have like 30 of them. And blue's just focusing on the eco. So I'd say blue is the better position, right? But the level's high enough where, you know, a mistake here or there and the other guy's going to be right back in it. So let's see what blue does. My tip to you, blue, is you got to look to find more damage with the crossbows. And doing that by sitting on the water is not it. I understand that like going this way felt awkward, but I mean the opportunity, like force your opponent to quick wall a bit earlier, try and find more damage. Okay, light cav and husbandry on the way. That applies to the scouts. Ballistics on the way for blue to get more from the crossbows. Nice job from red. This is ideally red will eventually build the second and third TC as well to catch up. And okay, so blue is probably going to look home now for a second to add a farm or something, and then look back at the crossbows and surprise! Nice micro from blue, but say goodbye to all of your crossbowmen. Well played, red. And Vivi Faye right back in it, and now has a big cav army, and blue's like, huh? Nice job there from red. Now, red, you got to counter immediately, my friend. I get you've got things to do. TC's coming up. TC's coming up. You've got to counter immediately. Look at blue, though, trying to be sneaky. You see blue freak out there? Blue saw the stable, was like, we don't like that. They will find me. And that's a good call from blue. I mean, obviously, you take a risk. You run in there. Maybe you find some damage. I think you fall back, and you go with pikes and crossbows, and that's fine. And it's a good choice. Adds the second barracks. Something I'm noticing is that the food eco is not exactly perfect for blue. This happens a lot when someone's making archers. There's not enough room for all the villagers, guys. The light calf finding some villager kills underneath this TC, and the pikemen can't make it in here because the crossbows are in the way, and the pikemen are like, move aside, crossbows, for we are the important ones now. What a great find from red. Now, red, you don't want to lose all your light calf here. If that's higher rank, you got a little trap there from blue, but what a fun little game. Nice job from red to come back into the game here. And you can see the stress kind of adding up a little bit for blue. Now, guys, red never completes this comeback without the fish. So, you know, something you've got to think about is if you've scouted that, right, and you're blue, maybe instead of spending so much wood on, like, ballistics and crossbows, maybe, you know, a dock or two to go kill this fish. There's a lot of fish down here. These fishing ships have been working the whole time. Red over here has brought in 1,000+ food just from the fish. You look at res collected. It's not too different for the difference in the vill count. At least what it was. Oh, man. Red's going to run right in the middle of the pointy boys. Red wants to fight on the hill, but red, you don't fight pikemen with light calf. You just don't do it. But, you know, what you can aim to do is use your mobility and keep blue on the move. And your thinking with the Hindustanis should be all about your unique unit now. Do you raid with the light cav? What is this, blue? Nice quick walls. Raid with light cav, but then build a castle and switch into Gulam. Oh boy, that monk has a death wish, but he's prayed about it and he's okay. Nope, he's dead. Never mind. Light cav have made it through. And again, it's going to be a lot of idle time from blue and blue's units. Pikeman crossbows, a superior army composition. But, you know, red has used the mobility very nicely here. This is why a lot of people hate stable units. Quick wall, damage control. This is your moment. This is your moment. Oh, boy. What a play there from blue. That'd be pretty sad if he were to ruin it here. Up, 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 up. Up. Sick. All right. Now, what's the idle time like? Well, it's climbing for both, to be fair. Red gonna try and get out of here. Blue's TC's doing the job. And boom, baby. Raid cleared up. Now, guys, if this is a pro, those villagers go back to work right away. But I'm not trying to take anything away from blue here. But the key, the quick walls. The real classy thing with the quick walls. You got to get those villagers back to work as quickly as possible. Not so easy to do. Blue wants to come forward and build a castle on red's face. How many vills, blue? Oh, God, we found the doubt fan. 6? You got 70 vills. You're bringing 6 to build a forward castle, which could make or break the game. 6? You got to bring at least 10. Big army, though, from blue, so it still could go up. And no siege at all from red this whole time. Siege would have been a good addition as well. And that is an important castle spot, too, because it will deny a lot of that wood. I don't know what that castle is. What are you protecting there, red? You're protecting the edge of the map. It might be pretty important to you, but I don't think it's pretty important to the rest of the game. Maybe to protect the stone and the gold. That's probably why that was going up. Army's in position from blue. Let's see the fight now from red. Red's got to reposition some of this wood line, which is not going to be easy. Now, what I find tricky about the matchup is, you know, anytime someone's like making the Ghoulems, if the opponent has good infantry themselves, they can kind of match the Ghoulems. I think Ghoulems are actually good against Karambits, though. Karambits are cheap. They would make sense against Ghoulems, but I think with the pass-through damage that Ghoulems do, which I think a lot of people forget about. They've got like this little pass-through damage. So if targets are like stacked on each other, you're hitting each one. I think that Ghoulems are insane against Karambits. And you know, you combine that with blue doesn't even know it's Ghoulem. And it's going to be 2 castle production. Look at the food income again from red. So well played. Now, red, think about it, though. You've got an answer now to anything that could come forward. So, maybe Light Cav could be on the raid again. Blue clicks up to the Imperial Age. Blue wants to go for Trebs from that forward castle. Pretty textbook with forward castles. Forward castle, plan for Trebs. It's really good. And red is going to be stuck in Castle Age. But will have a really solid unit. Now, Elite Ghoulem is way better than Castle Age Ghoulem. The Castle Age Ghoulem, they had nerfed, and you know, it's only 60 HP. It's, you know, Pierce Armor isn't going to be insane. Oh, this is going to get really interesting. Because when you go up to Imp, guys, you invest a lot of resources into that advantage. And then usually, in like the perfectly balanced games, you then start to lose control of something. In this case, blue's trying to push. And just as blue's trying to push, red is going to raid. Now, red is looking at this. Blue will see Ghoulems for the very first time. Here come the Ghoulems. And blue is freaking out, I'm sure. Here we go. Now, ideally, you get behind them. I don't think they have squires, so they're rather slow. And you just got to engage and let them do their thing at a certain point. Oh, can you imagine, though, if red was attacking with the Light Cav at the same time? I mean, these guys are, I say only 1100. It's been a really good game, but the double whammy would have been sick. You engage with the Ghoulems, and then you hit with the Light Cav. Grand Trunk Road on the way. Castle Age Unique Tech, where gold income comes in faster for red. Red's got 33 on gold with that, too. Light Cav are chilling in the middle. Probably not the spot you'd want to be at. Trebs are on the way from the forward castle. I still feel like Ghoulems should do amazing here. I think because of Imp, red is really worried about this castle. And rightly so. And bye-bye crossbows, bye-bye villagers, bye-bye Treb maybe. Where the army's disappearing for blue. Blue's probably like, how do I counter the Ghoulems? What do I do? And red's on the way to Imp. Such a great job from red this game, guys. Like, red had the brutal start with the villager going down to the board. We've had great raids and consistent vill production behind all this. And this will get worse for blue because blue does not seem to know what to do against the Ghoulems. Treb will go down. Imp advantage gone. Light Cav now coming in. Quick wall! Quick wall into all your monks dying. That's my favorite strategy. Well, nope. Pikemen are there. Monks want to take a Light Cav with them. And we'll see how many Ghoulems this castle ends up killing. That castle's killed 20 units. That's mainly Ghoulems. So that's still really, really good. So, what I'd like to see blue think about, like, if you know how the Ghoulems work, it's an anti-archer unit, is I like to just see straight infantry. You know, the castle here is a good castle. Giving up on this for the time being and just getting conscription is a really nice idea. That'll help you produce. Blue's got 5 relics. So, you know, for the time being, you have the barracks. I really like the Halb. I know some people are going to be like, well, we're not seeing any Cav T90. Like, why get Halb? Well, it's just making the unit you already have stronger. So that's fine. I think maybe people are mentioning elephants. I think you can get your eco to a certain point where elephants are actually a realistic option. But what a fun game. Like, I think the problem for blue is going to be red is going to commit hard to Golems, and elite Golem could do damage in so many different areas. Keep in mind, of the 44 on food for red, a lot of that's still fish. But, you know, with the redock, the fish is going to be way more efficient for red. Whereas, like, there's not really a redock here, so these fishing ships are pretty inefficient. They also spend way less food on villagers, as the Hindustanis at this stage. Get more infantry upgrades. Like, I wouldn't mind, like, two-handed swordsman. Forced levy, honestly. It feels a bit weird. Sometimes with melee, you don't know how to spend your gold. But you gotta, like, I think have defensive castles everywhere right now if you're blue, because red could be coming, and red's massing trebs, and red's ready to go to work here. I think blue could be in trouble, but blue has 5 relics. All 5 relics on the map, which someone pointed out in the early game is, like, potentially a little rigged. We're not used to seeing rigged things on this channel, so it was a big shock for people. Karambit warriors being made in the middle castle. They will produce pretty speedily. Blue sees the Treb, also sees the Golems. The Golems are elite, so more HP and more attack, and then obviously more armor as well. And these Golems will shred. This unit is so good against what blue is making right now. And there's no, like, anti-cav bonus damage in play right now for those helps. And now we see blue go for the man-at-arm upgrade. That's a long switch, right? To go for up to the two-handed swordsman line, that takes some time here. And there's 40 Golems. And, you know, there's going to be panic for blue. There's going to be stress for blue. Red's got resources everywhere. Red can take out buildings with this. There's force levy. So you only spend food on your two-handed swordsman, but it's still two-handed swordsman. Like, is that good enough against this unit? I'm not so sure. Like, if red brings the trebs right now and is dropping it on castles, I think blue might not have the time. Blue's making a trade cart. You can laugh, but pros have done that recently in tournaments. It's either a bug or a misclick or both, but trade cart's not going to help much. Golem is finding more and more kills. Good news for blue is there's still a lot of eco elsewhere. Bad news is red is coming with the trebs. If you want to make Age of Empires as easy as possible for somebody, you just say, hey, you make this unit, you upgrade this unit, you do this unit. And it's not that common that you can do that in this game. Usually you need a combination of things. This is a situation where solely making that one unit and committing to that unit makes a whole lot of sense. Red's got a 40 villager lead now. We'll has Treb down the castle. We'll Treb down the TC. And there's 60 Golems for red. Blue just now getting to the two-handed swordsman. Blue does have a crazy farming eco. Blue does have 5 relics. Blue does have lots of gold. And blue is a two-handed swordsman. Now, in terms of Hindustani options, the other thing they do really well in Imp, besides like camels in this, is gunpowder. So gunpowder should be the next thing you think about. But I think you can just snowball it. Like, I think with the pass-through damage, the Golems still shred, especially in a choke. You'll see, like, some of the units behind the unit getting attacked taking damage. Like, half a tile or 1 tile away. Down goes more and more eco, and red's got gold, right? Red is snowballing this now. And the Golems seem to be good enough. Blue doesn't have much more in production after this, and I think blue's got to be like, are you kidding me? I had the perfect play in this game. I had the TCs. And blue taps out and calls the GG. 118 Golems. The most created unit there for red. And, you know, blue had the lead in this game, but blue was never really able to finish off red. And the Golem was just the perfect unit to switch into. Blue had every advantage in Castle Age. I think for me, what allowed red to produce the amount of scouts and then eventually Golems and then the eventual villagers was the fish. Let's do a quick test here just to see. This might help us out. So right now there's 2,000 food. Oh, let's get all of it. Okay. Okay, there's 5,400 food remaining on the map from fish. Okay. Let's go to the start of the game. $13,000. 8,000 food was brought in on the water. And it was an area that was pretty much completely unprotected. Actually, I did miss some of the fish tiles, apparently. There's even more. There's, it would be more like 15K if you include some of the different types of fish. Sorry, maybe I didn't get it the first time. But, you know, my point still stands, right? I think, like, if you go back to the middle of this game, and you look at all the strength of Blue's position, you think, how is Red still alive? Well, Red's got 19 fishing ships. That's 19 units bringing in food. What does Blue have? Well, Blue has a lot on wood. Blue has a lot on gold. I think there's not a lot stopping Blue from going for a dock or two here, making a couple of ships. Dock or two here, making a couple of ships. Blue kind of stopped Archer production at a certain point anyways. And I don't think you need to even commit to multiple docks. Sneaking a couple fires there, it doesn't allow Red to make more fish, and then it gives Red another thing to worry about. So I think, you know, Blue did an amazing job this game. Red did an even better job staying alive and getting those fishing ships out to save, you know, to kind of keep the eco afloat. And then came Castle Age. The Light Cav cleared up the crossbows. The raids were really good. Red did a good job getting control. So that was great. Fighting demons is macros too hard for low elo players. Multiple TC is the brain's limit. Red disagrees. Listen, I don't look at Blue and think that Blue can't do what I suggested. I just don't think people realize the importance of the fish. Yeah, Red was multi TC behind a fish boom, but he added the fish earlier, I suppose, right? So, you know, but this game is so tricky, right? It's like right when you think you've got somebody, there's always a way back. And that's what's really fun about hybrid maps too, because there's lots of pros and cons. I do also think, and Atomic Sausage is kind of alluding to it right now, I do also think that Golems are insane against melee. Like, I don't know what to tell Blue right now. Blue's got 3k gold when Blue resigned. I don't actually know what to suggest Blue makes against Golems. I think it's also a really good unit, and it's a really good matchup. The best unit is Elephant, but that might be the only unit. And then, of course, it's like, it feels a little awkward. Like, Elephant feels awkward as a comeback thing. It's like when you're ahead, going Elephant makes sense, maybe? But yeah, I guess maybe when Man-at-Arms was coming in, Blue would have to go Elephant. And it's interesting. Hindustanis, they don't get Halb, so they would struggle a bit more with Elephants. Golems are not very good against Cav. No, Golems, their weakness would be up against Cav, which is why they would be pretty weak against the Elephants. But, you know, it still feels like this Golem is basically, it's basically like an eagle. So it's still tricky. These things get into your eco, and they're going to kill villagers before you react to it. So not easy. Maybe that's why Red picked the Hindustanis. Again, I speculated Blue would pick the Malay. They could have gone random Civ. But anyways, YouTube, let me know what you think of the mid-ranks. Mid-elo Mayhem? Maniacs? Something. I don't know. But I've enjoyed it. That was a good back and forth game. Like that, this is what I think. Like, obviously the game is strategic at lower ranks too. But this is like truly where it becomes like competitive and strategic at the same time. You got like one player dominating on land. The other player transitions towards water to stay alive. Archers beginning to be very strong. You know, Light Cav cleans up the archers. What does blue do? Blue then counters the cav with the pikemen. Then the pikemen, the crossbows get countered by the ghoulims. Then we had no response to the ghoulims whatsoever. But there's lots of back and forth thinking. Whereas, occasionally, Low Elo Legends is like, this guy picks their best strategy. This guy picks their best strategy. And they clash. Which is good. And don't get me wrong, it's fun. But, I like the back and forth here. I thought it was a good time. I tried to be informative, combined with, the fun as usual. So if you enjoyed that, leave a like on the video or whatever. And, yep. Thank you.